I will fucking kill you. Put that on your fucking camera and send that to the police. Because I will fucking destroy you. I'll destroy any cunt.
Timothy Scott, leader of Liberty Defenders, which he co-founded with notorious anti-Semite Jack Sen, threatens 4 times to use his military training to kill a mixed-raced right-wing activist, Luke Alexander, who is a member of the pro-Trump organisation Make Britain Great Again.
This man is crazy. He can't walk around threatening to use his military training granted by the Queen to murder citizens who won't stand with anti-Semites.
This is just not acceptable. The burning of a Make Britain Great Again hat was very odd, perhaps unhinged.
So here's your hat, here's everything you stand for.
But now we have these thugs, these associates of Jack Sen, threatening to kill a member of my organisation, to kill someone in cold blood. It's the kind of thing that the Gestapo would have done in 1930s in Nazi Germany, killing off the opposition.
I will fucking come down on you like a fucking ton of bricks and I will fucking hunt you down because you cunts are in London. And I will fucking hunt you down.
He's threatening to kill people. It's the sort of thing that a benign dictator would do, like Kim Jong-un or Mugabe. It's completely nuts.
I went to Afghanistan, Iraq and fucking Northern Iraq.
He's abusing his military training to threaten hard-working citizens like us. My father served in the army and he would never treat people like this.
These threats of violence occurred in July 2018 when the leader of Make Britain Great Again, Luke Nash-Jones, and the secretary, Brian Corder, understandably declined an invitation to speak at the Justice for Our Boys rally in London. The organisers were threatening to kill members of Britain's pro-Trump nationalist movement, Make Britain Great Again.
When we heard this distressing story behind the case of Justice for Our Boys, of how an Asian driver had crashed into 3 boys and they'd been killed, we felt shocked. We were very distressed by this. We felt moved and wanted to do something to help.
We thought that if the background of the perpetrators and the victims had been reversed, there would be huge public uproar, with claims by the papers of racism and terrorism.
There was a call for justice, and it seemed to be a very valid call, because these sentences certainly were very light.
Luke Nash-Jones, the leader of Make Britain Great Again, a nationalist campaign group in Britain, was approached by James Goddard, who begged him to produce a video for Justice for Our Boys. He offered payment which Nash-Jones declined, saying he is driven by hatred of communism and not by money. The secretary of Make Britain Great Again, Brian Corder, spent 18 hours producing a video to promote a James Goddard rally, including 3 remakes.
They provided the stage free of charge. What have you done?
Because we're genuinely passionate about this cause, we were determined to get as many people to the event as possible. So we put a lot of effort into the video, for example, because we really want to put pressure on the judiciary to re-evaluate this case. This case is very worthy, but because of the speaker lineup, it wasn't possible for us to attend.
So this message came in on my phone and it said, "Hey Luke, have you seen that Timothy Scott is involved with Jack Sen?" Now, I'd looked at his website before. It was pretty empty, and there was nothing really anyone knew about him except for his disastrous Pegida UK interview where they destroyed him.
There's so many things, you know.
Well, that's 2.
Okay. Just all stuff to do, you know.
Well, what? I mean, you said there's a problem. When I ask you what it is, you can't tell me.
So he was pretty much nobody. An article he had placed on his own website on the 24th of July made very clear that now he was working with one of Britain's most notorious National Socialists. And I thought, hey, we can't have this. We can't have this troublemaker getting involved in Tracy's campaign.
The notorious, self-claimed anti-Semite Jack Sen was expelled from UKIP after comments regarding Jewish people. Understandably, he is very unpopular with Britain's Jewish community.
Got a message coming now from Melanie Garel, pro-Israel activist. She says Jack Sen is an anti-Semite. He was excluded from UKIP because of his racist views and shared a platform with Jeremy Bedford Turner, a member of the genuine far right, who was recently convicted of and imprisoned for inciting racial hatred at a demo where he stated that he wanted to free England from Jewish control. As a British Jew, I'm extremely worried about anybody who associates with someone who shares those views. I mean, what do you think of that?
Sen befriended Nick Griffin and joined the BNP.
In my opinion, the media, instead of allowing us to discuss the society-ravaging ideals the Jews are responsible for, intentionally drag us back to the Holocaust in an attempt to deflect genuine criticism from organized Jewry.
Publicly expressing that he agreed with some aspects of National Socialism, or in short, Nazism. He then went on to be a TV presenter for the BNP.
Hi, my name is Jack Sen. I'm a BNP spokesman.
Members of whom are banned from UKIP.
We have nothing in common with the British National Party whatsoever.
UKIP, of which Nash Jones and Costello are members, meaning they are barred from sharing a stage with Sen or his associates. It has recently become public knowledge that Jack Sen co-founded a political organisation called Liberty Defenders with Tim Scott, the former leader of Pegida UK.
Jack Sen is my friend, and I don't give a shit what he's done in the past. He's a clever, very like-minded person. That's all that needs to be said.
Like-minded? Did he just admit right there to sharing the same political ideology as anti-Semite Jack Sen?
It was totally shocking to us to find out that Scott had teamed up with Sen. We thought the organisers didn't know about it, so we tried to make them aware of it. And they kept talking about unity. We can't have unity with National Socialism. That's like oil and water. It just doesn't mix. And we literally begged them over a period of 2 days to reconsider, but to no avail.
On the 26th of July, the Operations Committee for Make Britain Great Again held an emergency meeting because we were very concerned about this content that had been discovered on the Liberty Defenders website run by Tim Scott. We decided that we would not be able, sadly, to speak at the rally as much as we did support the cause of justice for our boys, and we declined the invitations.
And your committee meetings, I don't give a shit. Yes, Jack Sen is my friend. Yes, he's a good friend.
The cause of justice for our boys is very important. When I looked into this Sen character, it's clear to see that it would harm Tracy's hard work. In newspaper articles, there are quotes where he stated that he supports National Socialism. He also made anti-Semitic comments on Facebook.
Talking unity with National Socialism made it impossible for us to be part of it anymore.
Now, this was not my decision alone. In fact, the matter wasn't even brought to the committee initially by me. It was a unanimous decision. We all agreed on this, all of the Make Britain Great Again officers.
I mean, really, that should have just been the end of the matter. All it was is just 2 speakers withdrew, and it was just between us at that stage. But all the hysteria that came after it, that was just crazy.
Sadly, event organisers Glenn Saffey and James Goddard didn't just accept that Luke Nash-Jones and Brian Calder would not be addressing the rally, but sent aggressive messages to Nash-Jones, Calder and also Luke Alexander, the organiser of the Cambridge Free Tommy rally.
I was shocked. I thought that we were all on the same side. The angry, threatening messages that I received were hysterical.
And then I had these messages coming in from this chap called Glenn Safford, threatening to give me a good sorting out if he ever met me in person.
Right, this is my rant now. Right here, Luke, I'm telling you straight, right, mate. I don't know who you are, mate, but you're just put on there We cannot attend the rally due to the choice of speakers lineup. This is not your rally. This is Tracy's rally, right? So you're just upsetting Tracy. If that's your game, mate, me and you're going to meet up. And I'm not, I swear there, man, all right, you just upset me on a thing, right? But I swear, man, when I see you, me and you are having words.
Don't ever meet me outside. Really, don't ever meet me outside. Because it will be the worst situation for you, really. I mean that.
And these are words that people would take to be a threat of a beating. So basically, they're threatening, it seems, to beat me up unless I was willing to stand on a stage with an organisation featuring one of Britain's most notorious anti-Semites.
Luke Nash-Jones, Luke Alexandra, I'm coming for you.
We are coming for you. We ain't going to do it violently, we're going to do it with words, mate, because we will destroy you.
I hate.
We just quietly pulled out the march, but Goddard couldn't accept it and sent us hysterical messages stating that how dare we decide whether we attend or not. However, Timothy Scott then released a totally unnecessary video statement attacking Luke Nash-Jones and Make Britain Great Again.
The people, Luke Nash and people like that, that have got upset because I'm meant to be talking there, and have referred to me as a white supremacist and, what else was it, National Socialist.
I mean, we didn't want to make a video on the topic, not at all. But Scott went straight out and made it public and made a big video, made it a big problem, a big mess, and because he created a toxic environment, we had to respond. It was attacking MBGA and Luke. Luke had to make a response to that. He had no question. He was forced into that.
Now, we did want to support, and we very much still want justice for the three boys. We wanted to support the rally on the weekend. We'd have been very happy to come out there and speak, but we have serious concerns about the lineup of speakers.
He was very respectful of the cause for justice for our boys, which in our hearts we're very passionate about, but they weren't listening.
We really wanted to be part of and supporting this justice for our boys' cause, and we're really sad to see how certain controversial, dangerous groups have hijacked this very important case. And when we saw the statement made by one of the fathers to the LBC radio's broadcast of the Mayor's questions, we were very moved by that, and we felt something had to be done about this. But inviting an associate of Jack Sen to speak is not helping. This man, along with Timothy Scott, set up the Liberty Defenders. Now, Jack Sen has made no bones about the fact that he supports National Socialism, Nazism.
Sadly, that was not the end of the matter. Scott released a further video in which he claimed to be a friend of Jack Sen. He even said the two are like-minded in political ideology. Hardly surprising if they drafted a supposed British constitution together. Scott also displayed severe class bigotry.
Very clearly, by the way you speak, by the way you carry yourself, you are not a working class man. Middle class motherfuckers, basically. I have a fucking good job, so what we've got here now is like some sort of fucking class system. I'll tell you what, fucking meet me. We, us, everybody out there from the working class who suffer, alright, from people like you that hijack our fucking class and abuse our class, and you're the sort of person who will get up and be a boss and still give us minimum wage.
The tone of this video statement was very peculiar, suggesting that we are not welcome somehow on the British right because we're not working class. Now, this doesn't make sense because my family ancestry, despite how I sound due to having trained to be a priest, my family ancestry is Welsh miners, English dockyard workers. They're very working class. It was just a cheap, typical lefty attempt, the National Socialists, they are lefty, a cheap attempt at a character assassination because they can't debate the facts. It's an ad hominem attack. What they're trying to avoid discussing is the fact that Jack Sen, his own words himself, has claimed to be a National Socialist and has had said many derogatory things about Jewish people.
And even if I was racist, who gives a fucking shit? To accuse someone like me of being so far right. And even if I was, who gives a shit? Have I earned that right to do so? Of course I have. And if you're worrying about who people align with, you are a politician.
My father was a working class man who served in the army. Scott needs to stop using the military as a shield to hide his racist connections. Every year, Make Britain Great Again commemorates those fallen heroes by wearing the poppy and attending remembrance services. But we must never forget the other brave civilians that have helped this victory happen. And let us not forget brave people like the paramedics who've had to clear up after these terrorist incidents.
It is often said that Britain faces a war to preserve our culture, our way of life, not a war of bullets and grenades. This is a battle at the ballot box, a fight to win the most votes, to determine the destiny of this nation. Now, to win a military battle, an army needs many different groups of people with different skills. It needs brave foot soldiers who go out to the front line, heroes who risk death, but where would they be without a gun? Who makes the gun? Engineers are middle class, and they are vital to win any battle. Generals and leaders like Churchill are often upper class. They form important strategy. In politics too, we need to come together, whatever class, race, gender, and muck in, using our skills, experiences and abilities as a nation, as a team. It's the only way to win.
As a computer science engineer, I've always been fascinated by Bletchley Park, and they're nerds, I suppose, or kind of words someone like James Goddard would probably use, middle-class twats, work hard to crack the Enigma code. And without them, the British Army would have not known the locations, the coordinates of the Nazis. It would not have known when and where to strike, and it would have lost the war. So I very much admire and look up to and respect the bravery of our soldiers, but we must remember all of the people necessary to make a victory happen.
Right-wing oriented universities, they have the lawyers, they have the computer scientists, they have the marketers, we have a lot of expertise, the intellectuals. All of these are necessary to win a cultural war. In fact, the right has failed decade after decade after decade because it doesn't utilise these skills and bring them together.
Was the real issue for Scott the class or perceived imagined class of the Make Britain Great Again committee, or was that a cover for something else?
But I'm not going to cower into your UKIP motherfucking shit that you push out.
And then came the real reason for Scott's anger and his UKIP bashing. Surely it had nothing to do with his friend Jack Sen being kicked out of UKIP for being a racist.
Scott did address the Justice for Our Boys rally on the 28th of July 2018, delivering a speech that didn't impress everyone.
Well, what was that? Was that supposedly a speech? He got up there and ranted about being in the army. Oh, well done. Many people have been in the army, and that's something we really respect. Martin's dad was in the army. But what he's done is threaten to use those skills to kill people, so there's nothing noble about him.
Go and fucking take it on.
A couple used to the F-bombs. They chose this over putting Luke and Brian on, who was going to talk about the grand scheme cultural terrorism.
I truly believe in fighting terrorism, and this is fucking terrorism. Yes. Forgive my swearing.
And then he went on to just drop a load of F-bombs. It wasn't a speech, it was a sweary rant. Probably been drinking, I don't know.
It was a disaster. It was just like his Pegida interview.
And in fact, this is so bad, this speech, I wonder if MI5 planted him there just to make trouble for us.
You know, any senior police officer looking out the window and watching it would have just rolled their eyes and walked on. It's hardly going to sort of persuade him to and convince him to change policy or reopen the case or get motivated about anything.
The rally didn't have as large a turnout perhaps as some expected. Anger was brewing after. Perhaps a scapegoat was wanted, and Goddard and Glenn were not willing to accept he'd made a mistake in inviting Scott. In return for all Make Britain Great Again's hard work and goodwill, on the 28th of July 2018, a very ungrateful James Goddard and Glenn Saffey burned to Make Britain Great Again hat in the street, and produced a number of false and incorrect statements in voice messages and videos regarding Luke Nash-Jones and Luke Alexander.
See your fucking hat? See this? That's going, and you're going next, mate.
So here's your hat, here's everything you stand for, and we're going to burn it. Fuck you! Fuck you, Nash-Jones! We burnt it. Harriet. So Luke Nash-Jones, we'll see you next Saturday, and we will bring you down.
This was just so unnecessary and needlessly aggressive. If these guys really want the right to succeed, if they really want to make our country great again, then why are they threatening to beat up patriots and interrupt rallies?
Well, we see here that James Goddard, he's got involved with the cause, with Tracy's cause, and he's got a few Facebook likes and a few followers, and it's kind of gone to his head. He's become incredibly rude and arrogant and completely rubbished any work we did to help them. And he won't listen to anybody who's perhaps got some more strategic thinking maybe that he could offer, or someone with more political experience. He's just and then at the end of it he claimed that we didn't contribute. We spent collectively over 20 hours putting together some really good marketing content and videos.
You associate with Lucy Brown, you associate with Janelle.
There are some very inaccurate statements in that video by Goddard.
It's live, here we go.
You're talking about children, but you've made it political.
Tracy, right, so, what we're doing now, we're going to expose someone that has labelled us all as far-right Nazis.
We never ever called him or Glenn Saffrey, we never said that they're fans of Hitler, and they know we didn't say that. They're twisting things. They don't want to discuss the real problem here. They didn't vet the background of the speakers, and they invited in and associate a guy who started a political movement with a National Socialist.
Don't ever call me fucking Hitler, that I support Hitler. Don't ever call me racist. He's going to pay you a visit. And so is a lot more people.
Glenn Safer, who is a professional boxing coach at Norwich Golden Gloves, then threatened to organise teams of boxers from around the country to hunt down and beat up Make Britain Great Again.
You're fucking boxing with a geezer, alright, who will fucking knock the shit out of you so quick, alright, you won't even fucking see me.
You've used Trump's slogan.
I will be there next Saturday on your movement.
You've used Tommy's slogan to try and make money.
James Goddard does not have access to the financial accounts of Make Britain Great Again, and spoke out his backside as he made wild, unfounded, illogical accusations of profiteering.
This Goddard chap accuses us of making money out of activism, but the truth is, Luke and I bail out Make Britain Great Again every month, and we make a loss on it, but we care about our country.
Meanwhile, Goddard's campaign has raised nearly £18,000, putting him in a better position perhaps than some political parties. Make Britain Great Again struggles by on a shoestring.
And oh, these hats that he's so jealous of. We only make £2 on each of these hats, but how would he know? He doesn't have our accounts. We're spending hundreds of pounds on those banners we wave, but we hand out to the crowd and don't always get back. Just stop, think, and use your brain. Those boards that we hand out, thousands of them we've given out to crowds to wave, but Free Tommy or Britain Loves Trump, they cost us £2 each to make. Martin, Adrian, other people and I have spent hours stapling those together. James never came and helped us.
And then there was all the equipment for live streaming. I am the treasurer, Goddard isn't. We spend thousands of pounds on this equipment to get round the mobile police jammers.
2016 I was stopped by a special branch re-entering the country from Qatar. I was held under the Terrorism Act.
Timothy Scott then threatened 4 times to use his military training to kill a mixed-race right-wing activist, Luke Alexander, who is a member of the pro-Trump organisation Make Britain Great Again.
I'll fucking kill you. Put that on your fucking camera and send that to the police. Because I will fucking destroy you. I'll destroy any cunt.
In that video, Scott makes 4 times a threat to kill, which is a serious crime under the Offences Against the Persons Act 1861, Section 16. 4 threats could result in a hearing before the Crown Court, and the sentence can be as high as 10 years.
This man is crazy. He can't walk around threatening to use his military training granted by the Queen to murder citizens who won't stand with anti-Semites.
I'm going to get off this camera before I do and say something really bad. Really, don't fuck with someone like me. Don't. Because it is the fucking worst thing you ever do.
Clearly this man is a nasty piece of work. He threatened to kill a really good British patriot. I mean, he'd even organised a rally for Tommy Robinson, Free Tommy Robinson in Cambridge, on his own back. Clearly someone like this is not going to be a good face for the British right.
This is just not acceptable. The burning of a Make Britain Great Again hat was very odd, perhaps unhinged, but now we have these thugs, these associates of Jack Sen, threatening to kill a member of my organisation, to kill someone in cold blood. It's the kind of thing that the Gestapo would have done in 1930s in Nazi Germany, killing off the opposition.
People who know me know I will knock the fucking shit out of you, little prick.
He's threatening to kill people. It's the sort of thing that a benign dictator would do, like Kim Jong-un or Mugabe. It's completely nuts.
These threats of violence by Timothy Scott remind me very much of the Zimbabwe regime, the Mugabe dictatorship from which my family had to escape. He's just a typical lefty socialist making threats of violence because he can't do intellectual debate such as that encouraged by John Stuart Mill. He can't prove his points right, so he has to threaten to kill people who don't join his movement.
But when I get fucking mad, I get fucking mad, okay? And I am fucking mad.
He's abusing his military training to threaten hard-working citizens like us. My father served in the army and he would never treat people like this. Those skills are to be used to protect and to serve the community, not to threaten to murder us.
In a video by James Goddard, a man insinuates threats to hang the MBGA team of Luke Nash-Jones, Brian Calder, Martin Costello, Adrian Costello and Luke Alexander to death from the scaffold.
Get to the scaffolding!
It's a real shame that James Goddard and Tracy have decided to work with this Scott chap. I remember his interview about Pegida UK. He couldn't explain why we need to challenge Islamism. He couldn't explain why Pegida UK has to exist. And that was the very purpose of the interview. He would have known that before going in, and it doesn't seem like he prepared. Frankly, this bloke is a bit politically clueless, and his mate, Jack Sen, is basically a racist.
I've had enough of you. I'm going to name them as traitors to this country, right? Luke Nash-Jones, Tony Bugle, and the only thing you'll have in your hand is your fucking dick.
They had at that rally the Pendragon group, Free Men of the Land. Now these people are full of nonsense, and they're threatened to sue me 3 times for speaking the truth. And 3 lawyers can confirm they have absolutely no grounds to challenge me.
Fuck the army, fuck the navy, fuck the RAF, fuck the old bill, and fuck the Queen! Fuck the Queen!
Make Britain Great Again will not stand with people who threaten to kill the monarchy.
While these Pendragons have ditched their former potty-mouthed bank robber leader Graham Moore,
I, under common law, got 7 years, and I was held in HMD Hellmarsh.
and we thought maybe give them a second chance despite their crazy nonsense on common law. Unfortunately, their new leader, Gary Clark, isn't really that friendly. He cornered Martin and I in a car park.
And that was a stupid thing to do, Luke Nash, because you could have destroyed that. You could have destroyed Make Britain Great Again by doing what you did, because the Dragons, let me tell you, are very popular, and so is Tim Scott.
He's just another one of these people that can't have an intellectual debate. If you watch one of his videos, his live stream, it's actually painful. It's full of a lot of rubbish. He rants on about crazy things, saying the fact that we have citizenship supposedly means we all live on a boat and we're subject to maritime law. This guy is totally clueless, hasn't got a clue what he's talking about, and someone like me who studied law for 4 years, well, that really annoys him, and he has to resort to aggression to try and force people to accept his view.
Anyone could get off their backside to read a book. You don't have to be middle class to know that these pendrags are talking nonsense. These guys are asking for the abolition of Parliament. Without Parliament, we'd be a monarchy, and technically the Queen could do whatever she likes. I'm not saying she would do it, but she could cut people's heads off.
Fortunately, there is a positive place where you can come and meet other patriots who want to make our country great again. That's why I joined Make Britain Great Again.
We would encourage everyone to avoid the Liberty Defenders, the Pendragons and the anti-Semitic Jack Sen. Keep away from Timothy Scott, who threatens to murder mixed-race, patriotic citizens who won't stand on the stage with his anti-Semitic mate. Instead, come and stand with the real patriots, like Make Britain Great Again. We are the future.